Okay, this is Udder Havoc, day 2 of 2. It's a circuit workout. You're going to have 3 circuits. There's 3 exercises in the first circuit, 3 in the second circuit, 2 in the final circuit. And for each circuit, you go through the exercise one at a time. Then you repeat the circuit for a total of 2 up to 5 rounds, 2 to 5 rounds. Every exercise has a specific number of repetitions prescribed. However, you can do this as a timed workout, doing 50 seconds per exercise. Now, if an exercise involves one side and then the other, it's 50 seconds per side. If it's like an alternating side exercise, then it's 50 seconds total. And what you're going to do is add 5 seconds per workout. The first time you do it, you're doing everything for 50. The second time you do this workout, it's 55. The third time, 60 seconds. Fourth time, 65. You get the idea, all the way up to 85 seconds. We're going to start out with going through exercise number 1 from circuit number 1. It's the arco split squat. For this one here, you're going to have one leg up on a bench behind you. And it can help to have the backrest up, as I have here, so you can press your foot sideways into it for extra balance. Okay? Now I'm holding onto a dumbbell straight down on the side of the back leg. This hand is on the glute, so you can feel the glute firing. Now, the down foot, we want to angle it out 10 degrees. So rather than having the foot pointing straight ahead, you're going to turn it out about 10 degrees, just gently, and that prevents your knee from buckling in, okay? So, once again, one foot up on the bench behind you, holding a dumbbell down on the side of the back leg, free hand on your glute, foot is turned out 10 degrees. Now you're going to lunge all the way down, okay? Then you come up 3/4 of the way. Back down, up 3/4 of the way. By only going up 3/4 of the way, you're really going to be hitting the glutes, okay? You're going to do all the reps on one side, then you're going to switch sides and repeat. Now, if you're doing this timed, you'd start off doing 50 seconds right leg, 50 seconds left leg. There is a progression on this, and the progression is that if you really want to challenge yourself, you're going to finish with partials. So for the partials, you go all the way down, and then you just do these little partial reps at the end of your set, literally until you can't move anymore, okay, until you feel crippled. So that's the way you would finish this set. So that is exercise number 1. That's the arco split squat. It's named after fitness expert Joe Arco, who taught this exercise to me. It's a standard exercise, but he has all these little nuances in which he teaches it, which I really like, which is why I'm sharing with you that particular variation of the exercise. Now, we're going to go on to the bent over rows alternating. For this one here, you have your knees bent, lean forward, straight back, 45 degrees. You're holding the dumbbells up by your sides with the palms facing in like this. Okay? Now you lower one dumbbell down at a time, and you turn the grip so that you finish with an overhand grip at the bottom. I'm just going to give you a different view. So you can see what I'm doing with the grip. I rotate it from sideways to overhand. Now for some people, that's really demanding posturally to just maintain that position. So if you need to, if you have a sensitive back or anything, and you think it's going to be too much, you do this with your butt on the wall. Okay? This exercise here is great for the upper back. It's great for rotational stability. And it's great for postural endurance, because you're going to be working your low back and a lot of those posterior chain muscles just to maintain that position the entire time. Now, the final exercise here on this circuit is going to be the half turn step ups. So for this one here, I'm just going to give you a different view here by turning the bench. Okay? Once again, I like to keep the backrest up as a little bit of a spotter. All right? Now, what you would do is we'll start out without any weight. You'd be standing sideways to the bench. You have one foot on with the foot pointing this way here, okay? The other foot is pointing straight ahead. So they're perpendicular to each other. This kind of looks like the Captain Morgan position from the front of the rum bottles when the pirate has his foot on the barrel, okay? So from this position here, you can hold on to the backrest for balance if you need to. You're going to press through the top leg to step up, and as you step up, you're going to do a little bit of a partial turn. So now I'm facing in the direction of the raised foot. Now I unturn and I repeat. So you're doing that little partial turn with the step up. As a progression, you can hold a weight on the side of the top leg, okay? Just like this, as I'm doing here. To make it harder, you hold that weight on the side of the down leg, okay? And that's going to make it harder, all right? So you would do all the reps on one side, then you do all the reps on the other side. That's a very dynamic exercise. You're going to be working the hip and thigh muscles in unusual ways because we're not just working the sagittal plane, we're working the transverse plane now. So it's got a bit of a rotational element to it, which is less common in step-ups and less common in many gym exercises. But rotation is very common in everyday life and super common in sports, okay? So we want to be able to train those planes of motion to give you greater biomechanical resilience, to prevent injury and help you function as best you can. Now we're going to be going on to an alternating chest press. For this one here, we're going to have a 30-degree incline. Typically, a 30-degree incline is the second click up when you're lifting your backrest up. Every bench is different, but generally it's going to look something like this, okay? Now, you're going to have your pair of dumbbells, and you're going to be seated, laying all the way back, holding the dumbbells all the way up overhead, touching, palms facing your feet. Now, you bend the elbow down and out to the side to lower one dumbbell down beside your chest and shoulder, press it up and repeat, alternating sides, okay? Just like this. Only one dumbbell is in motion at a time. Think of it like a pendulum. You touch them and you alternate. They touch at the top and they alternate, okay? And I just want to give you just a little bit of a different view, just in case that wasn't clear enough, that it's going to look like this, okay? So you have the dumbbells up, you lower one down, press it up, lower the other one down, press it up, okay? Now we're going to be going on to the crossover step-ups. So for crossover step-ups, I do like to use the backrest of the bench as a bit of a spotter. If you don't have a backrest on your bench like this, then I recommend having a wall or just something you can put your hand on, just in case you start losing your balance, okay? So, I'm going to have the backrest up, and what I would be doing here is I'd be standing beside the bench with my outside leg across and on top of the bench. So I'm in a front curtsy, okay? And I can hold a dumbbell in one hand, and my other hand can be holding onto the top of the backrest, all right? And there's a couple different ways you could do this. You could hold the dumbbell in either hand. That's fine. So you're going to push through the top leg to step all the way up, lower down, and repeat. Now the down leg never goes onto the bench. You'll see that it just kind of goes along for the ride, okay? That's key, all right? Because then we keep the top leg working the whole time. So that's the crossover step up. Now a progression is to step side to side over the bench, which looks like this. So I go up, as I did before. Now I swing that down leg over to the other side. Now I swing it up and across, okay? So we go like this. So my foot that's on the bench stays on the bench the whole time. You would do all reps on one side and then switch sides and repeat. That is a very dynamic movement right there. You're getting a lot of the adductors, abductors, lots of hip stabilizers in. You're going to be working your cardio. Fantastic movement. It is a little technical, which is why it's the progression. So do the standard crossover step up until you're comfortable, and then work your way to that one there. Now the next one we're going to do is a reverse fly. For this one, you're probably going to be using a 30-degree incline, just like this, about 2 clicks up. Now, you're going to have your knees on the seat, and then you're going to lay sideways on the backrest. I like to take my top arm and just hug the top of the backrest, okay? So I'm laying sideways across the bench. I'm holding a light weight, probably 2 to 8 pounds, straight down in front. Now I'm going to arc it up and in front of me, all the way till it's straight up overhead, then I lower down and repeat, okay? Straight up overhead, lower down and repeat. So this is going to work the rear deltoid. It's going to work some of those pull muscles between the shoulder blades. Really focus on bringing the shoulder blades together at the very top of the movement. This is excellent for posture and shoulder health. You just have to go light and go at a nice steady pace like what you saw me do there. Don't try to use momentum and just swing this thing all around like a crazy person, okay? You would complete all reps on one side, then you'd switch sides and repeat. So once again, if you're timing it, 50 seconds on one side, then 50 on the other, and then you just add 5 seconds per workout. Now we're going to be going on to one of the most technical core exercises of all time, okay? So no pressure for you. This is an exercise that is often reserved for Olympic and pro athletes. So if I'm teaching this to you, as I am, then it means that you're either a pro and Olympic athlete, and this is your rite of passage, or perhaps you're a fitness enthusiast who has just achieved this level of technicality in core exercises. Either way, kudos and respect to you. So the inchworm, this is an infant development exercise. Infant development exercises are exercises that have been identified with hitting a bunch of unique reflex points on the body, which help to stimulate some physical results and accelerate fitness results. Okay, and they were identified through studying infant development and the movement infants do, and how they're able to improve their fitness so fast, and believed to be related to some of these unique reflex points. So this one is the inchworm, and it's going to involve slinking on your back all the way down to the end of the mat, and then back, and then repeating, without really using your arms or legs. So you got to use your spine in a wave-like motion to get down to the end of the mat and back, okay? And at a very rudimentary level, people may coach it as that. They may say, just without using your arms and legs and your spine only, go up and down the mat. But I'm going to show you a more refined way of coaching it with a little bit more attention and detail to form, okay? So for this variation here, you're going to be laying face up. You're going to have your knees up over your hips and your arms crossed. Now you're going to tip your chin back behind you, and you're going to peel the back of your hips up, bringing your knees to your elbows. Then you're going to bring your chin down to your mid-neck and lower your knees, okay? The whole time when you're doing this exercise, your head has to stay on the ground, by the way. Biggest mistake, people start lifting their head off the ground and straining their neck. All right, so we're going to repeat that motion. Chin back, knees up and in. Chin down to mid-neck, knees down. Chin back, knees in. Chin down, knees down. Chin back, knees in. Chin down, knees down. Now in real time, notice the wave-like motion I'm doing here. And notice how my head stays down the whole time, and then I'm inching my way to the bottom of the mat. And if you're doing this right, your abs will start to light up on you during this motion. Now once you get to the end, we got to do a reverse inchworm, okay? A reverse inchworm is much harder. So pay close attention to the cues, and I'll give you a couple different views of this movement. So, arms crossed, I roll onto one side a little bit, then I hike my hip up, and I go onto the other side. Hike my hip up, go onto the other side, just like this, okay? Now, I also use my head to anchor and pull. Okay, so roll onto the side, hike the hip up, anchor and pull. Okay? Now, just to give you a different view of that, if I'm facing you, what I do is roll onto my side, hike the hip up, anchor and pull. Okay? So that's the motion there. There's an exercise you can do. If that's too hard, I can get you to do apple pickers to begin. For apple pickers, you just reach up like you're picking an apple, reach up. Reach up like you're picking an apple, reach up. And then you're trying to reach behind you a bit. And if you go like that, and you don't worry about much else, just rolling with it, then you'll start to inch your way back. So the apple picker is an exercise you can do to reverse your way back if the inchworm's a little bit too hard initially. Once again, this is one of the most technical exercises to figure out, so be patient with yourself. Typically, you're going up and down the mat 3 to 6 times unless you're timing it. I'm going to give you one more quick review of this. Okay, laying on your back. Chin back, knees in, chin down, knees down. Just like this, wave-like motion all the way down to the end of the mat. Then once you get to the end, you roll onto your side, you hike your hip up. Roll onto the side, hike the hip up. Use your head to anchor and pull. And you're just going to inch your way back, okay? That is the inchworm. Congratulations, you made it to this point in your fitness journey. All right, now you have something to talk about at your parties. Next exercise is the bear crawl 360. Now for this here, I like to have some sort of a target on the ground. The target should remain ever underneath your belly button, as though you're on a swivel, that there's a pole that goes through that target, through your belly button, so that you're just kind of revolving around it, okay? So, I'm going to use a vertical dumbbell here today. You could use even a coin or a lacrosse ball, your car keys, I don't care. Whatever you want to use, the idea is just to keep it directly beneath your belly button. Now you're going to be on all fours, and you're going to float your knees an inch off the ground. Then you're just going to gently, slowly crawl in a circle while keeping that target under your belly button. Now you might go 3 to 10 times in one direction and then switch directions, or sometimes you do one revolution and then you would go the other way, okay? Just like this. Try not to rush it. It's better if you go kind of slow and steady, okay, and keep it smooth. That's going to be a great exercise for your shoulders, your core, your cardio, your thighs, and that will conclude Udder Havoc Day 2. Fantastic, utterly fantastic workout for blitzing your body from a bunch of different angles, a bunch of different force vectors to challenge your bones, your joints, your muscles, your fitness in all kinds of unique and dynamic ways. That will bulletproof your core, your spine, make you more injury resistant, help you develop more functional, three-dimensional fitness for everyday living, and just help you be at your best. Udder Havoc Day 2, and I'm rooting for you in the game of life.